And joining us now in the studio, someone who has been amongst all the action today at Royal Sydney at Sky News, a golf expert, Bruce Young. Well, Bruce, talk about a dramatic Clark. Tim Clark looked like he was just absolutely stunned to win the title.
Well, I think he was stunned because I think when he finished at 9 under, he didn't realise at that stage he would be in a playoff. Neither did Matty Goggin, for that matter. I mean, they know David Smale. He's a no-frills sort of player, a real grinder. Most people would have felt that when he got 4 shots in front through 9 holes, that the tournament was his. I mean, it's tournament golf, anything can happen. But his demise over the closing few holes was a surprise, not only to the public generally, but certainly to Tim Clark and to Matty Goggin as well.
Would Tim Clark be celebrating tonight, do you think?
Well, I don't think so, because he made the comment in the press conference afterwards that it's hard to be elated when he's seen what's happened to both David and also, to a lesser extent, Matty Goggin. So I don't think he'll be celebrating quite yet, but tomorrow when he wakes up, he'll realise that he is the Australian Open champion and be rapt about it, I'd say.
He's a South African. Tell us about his love affair with Australia.
Well, this is his first visit down here. He's played 3 events. He played the Australian Masters, the Australian PGA Championship last week, and now this week. But he said that in many ways he feels more welcome here than he does in his own country. There's another tournament going on in South Africa this week, the Alfred Dunhill, but he chose to play here instead because he feels he's just enjoyed it so much, and I think he's obviously delighted with the result. But I think we're going to see him back here next year. Maybe not for 3 weeks next time, but maybe for a couple of events. I'm sure he'll be back.
Now, tell us how David Smale would be feeling tonight. Very disappointing. He did have a 4-shot lead midway through that final round, and the pressure just got to him, didn't it?
Well, I don't know so much. I just really feel it was just one of those things. He's a player that's won the Japan Open. He's won the New Zealand Open. He's won a tournament here in Australia. He's been a regular competitor in Japan. He's been in contention on a number of occasions. So I don't think he felt the pressure so much. I just think it was just really one of those things. A couple of bad drives at the wrong times brought him undone. That led to the double bogeys on 15 and 16. But he'll be feeling pretty awful about it tonight, I'm sure, and for quite some time. But he'll go home to New Zealand, I'm sure, put the clubs away for a few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and return to competitive golf. And he'll be back contending, and I'm sure winning again.
Well, that's a tough thing, isn't it? There's no other tournament to follow this, so there is a lot of thinking time now for these players.
Well, for Tim Clark, it's probably a good thing. He can think about the positives, although he's playing in South Africa next week, interestingly enough, at the South African Open. But for David, he probably will go back to New Zealand and ponder on this demise for quite some time. But hopefully it'll also allow him to get it out of the system.
Now, another one who might be pondering is Matthew Goggin. He came so close, didn't he? But he just couldn't sink some of those crucial putts today.
Well, it almost looked that today like he was going to be the beneficiary of a demise. Last week he was the victim of a demise, his own demise, at the Australian PGA Championship. So he's had a number of second places. He's won a couple of events, not many, and quite some time ago when he's won. So he'll be getting frustrated with the amount of runner-up finishes that he's had. But there'd be a lot of golfers out there that would love to have his problem, I would think.
Well, another player that's worth a mention is Stephen Dartnell. Now, he was leading after round 2. He had his parents come over from Perth to watch him. Fantastic effort from him to finish 3rd.
A stunning performance. He's only been a professional a couple of years, relatively inexperienced in this situation. In fact, virtually no experience in the situation that he found himself throughout the course of the weekend, to lead this tournament, the Australian Open, his own national open, and then to hold on and keep coming back. He'd make a bogey but keep coming back to eventually finish in a share of 3rd with Robert Allenby and one other. He'll look at this as just something quite special in his career, and this could really be the stepping stone for him to go on to much bigger and better things. It was an outstanding week for the West Australian.
Now, the Kiwis mightn't have done so well through David Smale, but it was Mark Brown who did take out the Order of Merit, though, today.
Yeah, I guess glass half full, glass half empty for the New Zealanders, because Mark Brown did win the Australasian Tour Order of Merit. This event brought to a conclusion the Australasian Tour Order of Merit. He hasn't played well in Australia, funnily enough, but he had that big win at the Johnny Walker Classic in March, I think it was, in India, and that is part of the Australasian Tour. It's co-sanctioned with the Australasian Tour, that event, and as a result of that big check that he picked up there, it was enough to keep him in front right to the end. So he'll pick up some fairly significant advantages by being the winner of the Australasian Tour Order of Merit. He'll get a start at the final stage of qualifying for the PGA Tour next year, and possibly, I think, starts in a couple of majors. So it's been a big year for Mark Brown. He's won on the Asian Tour. He's won the Johnny Walker Classic as well. He'll be pretty happy tonight, I would say.
Now, we mentioned a lot of the players will be taking a break now, but what will they be doing over the summer anyway?
Oh, it varies a lot from player to player. Some guys will go back to the United States. Some, Matty Goggin, will probably go down to Tasmania for a while. Some of the guys have their homes in the United States and probably will want to go back there for Christmas. Many of them will just hang up the clubs for quite a while. Just depends on the individual. Most of them, for the players that play the US PGA Tour, their first start back will probably be the Sony Open in Hawaii. Some might leave it a couple of events after that. For Matty Goggin, his next event will be the Bob Hope, which is about 2 or 3 events into the PGA Tour. But some will be really keen to have a break because it's been a long, hard year for many of them, and others will be just keen to get back out there as soon as possible. I suppose it just depends on the individual.
Oh, we look forward to when they do get back in action next year.
Absolutely.
Thanks very much for your time, Bruce.
Pleasure.
Thank you.